Hello. Yeah. Coming in. Should we go home? Yeah. Come on then. Oh. It's been recording for a minute already. I had no idea. Hello, my lovelies. I know it has been a little while, about a month-ish, I think, since I last kind of uploaded something. If you saw my post that I made either on here or on Instagram, I basically took a bit of a booktube break. I wasn't getting the enjoyment that I usually get when I consume bookish content. And something that I do really want to do is go through my subscriptions, and this isn't a kind of personal attack or anything on certain creators. I just feel like there are just some creators that I used to watch that I just don't resonate with anymore. And when I see their content come up in my feed, it doesn't necessarily bring me the joy that it used to. So I think that's something that I do want to do at some point. But anyway, February has been a very lovely month. It's the month of love, especially for me, because not only do we have Valentine's, but within February, I also have my anniversary with my partner and his birthday. So February, it can be quite busy and quite costly. So I definitely had to do, I say budget. Oh, I don't think I budgeted very well in February. I have had a really lovely month spending time with my partner. For his birthday, I booked us 2 nights in a chalet in a local farm, and it was gorgeous. I was so lucky with the weather. The weather was wonderful, and we were just surrounded by beautiful farm animals, and just the atmosphere, just being in the countryside and just completely disconnecting from the world and from technology. It was just so lovely, and just to have some quality time with him was really, really lovely as well. So that was fabulous. And I've been trying to take February quite slowly, because from the 1st of March, I will be starting an internship, which I am so excited about. I'm so excited about this internship. It's something that I do feel like I have manifested, because it is with a charity that I became aware of a couple of years ago. And it's a local charity to me, and it's a marine conservation pollution charity, and I'm really excited about the project that I'm joining and the work that we're going to be doing. I'm just so excited about it. So from March, I'm going to be a very busy bee. April is very, very busy, a very busy month for me. So because I know I have a lot coming up, I kind of wanted to take February as, so month, enjoy the last bits of winter, because now spring is showing its beautiful head. The crocuses and the daffodils and the snowdrops are out. Like I said, the weather as well has been really lovely the last couple of days. The days are getting longer. It doesn't get dark till like 6 p.m. now, which is just, oh, so fabulous. And it's getting lighter in the mornings as well. I love opening the curtains and like having sunlight come through. It's just love it. I have got my spring mug. I mean, I've been using this for a little while because I've just been craving spring. So I am just so excited for the warmer weather. I am a spring chick. My birthday's in April. And I just love spring. It is my favourite season by far. I haven't got loads to update you on because, like I said, February was a much slower month for me, but I will give you a reading update. Firstly, I want to talk about Hera by Jennifer Saint. This is a book that I have been reading for a little while now. I have put it down and I haven't picked it up in quite some time, in a few weeks, I would say. And it's not the fact that it's not good or I'm not enjoying it. It just, because of the topics, some of the topics that are talked about can be quite heavy. It's not a super heavy book in the sense that it can be like quite traumatic to read, but it's not a light-hearted book. If you know much about Greek mythology, they can be brutal, and some of the stories and the myths can be quite brutal. And Jennifer Saint's feminist point of view on these, I think, are brilliant. But in this, she's obviously trying to bring some sort of justice to the Greek females that have most definitely been shat on, to try to put it quite bluntly. Hera was always one of the Greek goddesses that she wasn't one of my favorites. I always felt like she was not a girl's girl. And whenever Zeus was unfaithful or did something wrong, it was like never his fault. But in this book, that is definitely kind of turned on its head. The book has depth to it, and I just think at the time I wasn't quite in the headspace for it. But I do definitely want to finish this book. I just don't know when that will be. We've just reached a point in the book actually where it's kind of taking a slight turn, and I am intrigued with where it's going to go, because at the start of the book, I don't know if this is really a spoiler because it's Greek mythology, it's like some of the oldest stories ever told, but I think most people know Hera is the goddess of the gods. She is the queen of the gods and goddesses of Mount Olympus, of the Olympians, and she is married to Zeus. But the first half of this book, she's very adamant that she will never marry Zeus. And I was very thrown by that because I was like, but you do though. But you do. And we've just had their wedding. But I am very much intrigued by Hera's thoughts and her reasoning behind doing certain things. This book has given her more depth for me, which I very much appreciate, because I didn't have the highest regards for Hera before reading this. So I am definitely seeing her in a different light. But yeah, not too sure when I'm going to pick this one back up. I'm on part 3, which is page 183. So I am pretty much halfway. I'm at the halfway mark. So I'm just going to see how I feel and pick it up when I'm ready for it. But the next book that I started probably about a week ago, and I'm very excited to talk about. Again, I'm about 50% of the way through, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, it's happened. It's happening. I have finally started my Throne of Glass journey. Now, some of you may be thinking, hang on a minute, Victoria, didn't you say you were going to start with The Assassin's Blade, the prequel novellas? Yes, you are correct in thinking that, because I did in fact say that. However, I recently joined a Discord where they're doing a readathon of the series. I am very much behind in that readathon, but their reading order starts with Throne of Glass, then it goes to Crown of Midnight, and then it's the Assassin's Blade. And I was like, why? I don't know. I don't think I'd heard of that reading order before. So I said, out of curiosity, why is it that we're doing it in this order and not starting with the Assassin's Blade? And basically, this is the order that is kind of recommended by Sarah J. Maas. On her website, you can there's like a blog where it's like how to get into the Sarah J. Maas verse, where to start, all that jazz. And when it comes to the Throne of Glass series, it's suggested to start with the first 2 books and then read the prequels. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I've started doing. Where am I? So I'm on chapter 27, which is page 199. I'm 200 pages in, basically. And I have read this book before, but it was when it was first published, which was over 10 years ago now. Thankfully, I actually remember nothing about it. It is like reading it for the first time, which is such a wonderful experience. The writing style, I can definitely tell that this is Sarah J. Maas's earlier work. She loves an exclamation mark in this book, loves it. And you can tell that comparing this to Crescent City, her writing has gone leaps and bounds. Like, she has improved phenomenally. And you do when you just do something over and over again, you get better at it. And she most definitely has. However, that I'm not saying this is badly written. I'm actually really enjoying how this is written, and I can tell this is written by Sarah J. Maas. Like, her writing style, I feel like I can just pick it up and I can instantly identify it. I'm trying to figure out what is it about her writing style that does that, and I'm still trying to pinpoint that. Maybe it's the way she describes things. She just has her own voice, and that's shining through from the very first book she's written, which is lovely, which is so lovely. This is YA, I'm pretty sure. Like, the characters are late teens, early 20s. And at first I was a bit hesitant about that because I am in my late 20s. I am a good 5-6 years older than these characters. But saying that, I do have quite a few friends that are the same age as these characters, and I don't feel an age difference. And I am kind of feeling that with our characters in this book as well. In case you didn't know, I mean, I don't know who doesn't know Throne of Glass at this point, but in case you don't know the plot of this book, basically we are following our main character, Selena Sardothian, and she is the assassin of Adelan. I'm not 100% sure on how to pronounce it, but she is like the ultimate assassin. And she is, at the beginning of the book, paying for her crimes in Endovia. Endovia is a kind of prison camp where you play out your punishment by doing manual labor, like mining. She is approached by the Prince of Adelan, and he proposes to her a deal, and basically says, if you join my father's, aka the king's, competition to find the crown's champion, then, and win, if you win this competition and you become the king's champion, I will grant you your freedom after you have served for a certain amount of time. Selena is like, deal. Done. We are following Selena as she arrives at the palace to participate in this competition to become the king's champion. And of course, she is the only female, and all the others are males. But they're not all brutish. We have some brutes, but we also have some other assassins and some more kind of lower level criminals that have been put forward to participate. This isn't a spoiler because this is said on the back of the book, but as this competition is playing out, some of the champions that are participating, the criminals, they are being killed off in quite gruesome ways. And that is all I'm going to say about the plot, because I've gotten to a point in the book where it's starting to unravel a bit more, but we're starting to get some more depth and some more lore. I mean, this is a 7-book series, and the books only get bigger. I know there is so much lore, and knowing Sarah J. Maas, where we start is no indication to where we're going to finish. So I am very well aware I am embarking on a very, very, very big, twisty, turny journey, and I'm so excited about it. And knowing how Sarah J. Maas writes and how she kind of leaves Easter eggs and does her foreshadowing, I'm trying my hardest to pay as much attention as possible to the words and what she's hinting at and things like that. I'm not an annotator. I don't annotate my books, but every now and then I'll come across something and I'll be like, maybe she's mentioned that for a reason. Maybe this is something that I should try and keep in my head. But I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm not rushing it. I don't want to rush it. I'm taking my time, and yeah, I'm having a good time with it. I didn't realize we were going to have, so it's written in third person, which is kind of classic Sarah J. Maas. And Selena is our main character, but every now and then we do get some point of views of the two main characters, which is the Prince Dorian and the head of the guard, Cole. And Cole is basically in charge of watching over Selena and making sure she doesn't assassinate anybody. So that's kind of how he is linked into all of this. And Dorian and Cole are like best mates. They grew up together. Basically, we've got ourselves a bit of a love triangle, which I feel like, when was the last time I read a love triangle? I don't think I've read a love triangle in a very, very long time. I'm not too sure how I feel about love triangles. At the minute, I don't have any overwhelming emotions about them. Like, I don't love him, I don't hate them. They're just part of the plot, and I'm curious to see where it will go. But again, I know Sarah J. Maas. One thing can happen in the first book and go one way, and by book 3, completely different love interests, completely different plot lines, completely new characters. Like, I am just so aware that this is the base of this world and this series. And I'm so happy that I finally started it. It feels so good to hold it in my hands. So, yeah, I have rambled on for gosh knows how long, and I haven't even had any of my tea. So, I am going to have some of that. This is, of course, a biscuit brew with a drizzle of honey. Oh my gosh, I just love this tea so much. I usually have it with oat milk, but I ran out of oat milk, so it's just got regular milk in it, and it's still just as delicious. But that is my kind of mini life update and my reading update. Now, I think it's time we talk about what I actually want to do in this vlog today. I have totally and utterly neglected my reading journal. I have not touched it since I made it. And I really want to take some time today to fill out my January stats and any like the bingo board and anything like that. I want to fill it out. And also, very excitingly, a couple of weeks ago, when I did one of my classic The Works trips, I saw these beautiful sticker sheets. This first one is part of their wildflower collection. It's a 100 pack, and they just have, I don't know if you can see them, but they have these gorgeous flower, very cottagecore stickers that I just think will look beautiful on some spreads. So I got those. And then they have a book club collection. And again, it's a pack of 100 stickers, and it's just stickers dedicated to reading and books. So what I really want to do is I want to decorate the front of my reading journal with these stickers, give it a bit of personality, a bit of love, think that'd be a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do that for a little while. So that is something I definitely want to do today. I also want to reorganize my TBR cart because she's a little bit messy and she needs a little bit of TLC. And I also want to change my TBR jar. I'm going to be using an old candle jar because it's wider. I can get my hand in it easier than the sauce jar that is currently my TBR jar. So I want to do that as well. I want to do a bit more reading. I have done a little bit of reading today. I read a chapter this morning. I wrote down that I want to read between 50 and 100 pages. So I think that can easily be done today, I'm sure. I don't think there was anything else particularly that I wanted to do book wise. I think that was it. I did write it all down, but I really just want today to be dedicated to bookish things because I haven't done that in a little while. I've definitely delved into my gaming, which I've been really enjoying. And if you're into cozy gaming and just gaming in general, then I always have my gaming channels linked down below. But yeah, today I really want to dedicate to reading. So that's what I plan to do. I think I've rambled on enough. What I might do now actually is start with my reading journal and get that up and running. And I'm going to have my Winnie the Pooh keeping me company, and yeah, it's going to be good. So let's just crack on with that before I ramble on anymore. Okay, now that I have decorated the front of my reading journal, I think she looks so cute. I am now going to fill in my January and February stats. I'm going to keep listening to my Winnie the Pooh ambient cozy cabin music. I am now going to crack on with filling out the stats, and I will get back to you when I am done. Excuse the angle and the noise of my PC. I'm very well aware that you can most definitely hear that. But I just want to quickly show you my reading journal and the updates in it. First is the book bingo. And as you can see, I've been able to colour in some of them. So I've been able to colour in More Than 500 Pages, New to Me Author, Cat on the Cover, fantasy book and novella, which I am very happy about. So the more than 500 pages was The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, who was also my new to me author, but also my new to me author could also be the same one as the cat on the cover, which is the Full Moon Cat Cafe, the Full Moon Coffee Shop. So that's very exciting. Fantasy book, against the Crown of Nyaxia series, novella, Six Scorched Roses, and Flowers on the Cover is also Six Scorched Roses. So I don't think I said Flowers on the Cover. Flowers on the Cover is also one that I was able to colour in. And then we turn over to my pages per month spread and my alphabet challenge. So pages per month. With this, I am going to just be tracking it by the completed books that I read in that month. So for example, in January, it was just Full Moon Coffee Shop and Six Scorched Roses, which came to a total of 427 pages. So in February, I will put together the fact that it was The Ashes and Star-Cursed King, and then if I finish Throne of Glass before the month is up, then I'll add that as well. Alphabet challenge, I put in S, Six Scorched Roses. I am going to give myself a little rule with this. I'm not going to include books that starts with like A, the, you know, those kinds of things. I'm only going to include books that starts with a definitive word, and at the minute that has only been Six Scorched Roses. I then updated my series tracker. I just needed to colour in the Crowns of Nyaxia just here, and I also got to colour in Crescent City because I read House of Flame and Shadow, but that was back in December, wasn't it? Or did I finish that in January? I can't quite remember. But yeah, I was able to do that. I actually need to colour in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Why have I only coloured in 3 of those? Because I read 4, I think. I'm going to double check that because I'm questioning myself now. And then my reading tracker, I was able to colour in 3 books, and I'm doing it color coded by the star rating. So I had 2 4 stars and 1 3 star. So that is how I have colored them in. And I'm pretty sure that was the last one. Yeah, I haven't read any of my 26 books for 2026 yet. Well, okay, I started an audiobook which was Bound by Ali Hazelwood. And I haven't finished it because it's not grabbing me the way I want it to grab me. So I don't know if I'm going to put that in and consider it a DNF or not. I don't know. Reading goals, I could tick visit the library because I have now visited the library, but I was so anxious. I literally walked in, walked around and left. I want to actually spend time in the library. So I don't think I'm going to tick that just yet. I don't think I'm going to count it. But that is everything to be updated in my reading journal. And I'm so happy that she is now decorated, looking beautiful with her stickers. I don't know if I'm going to add maybe some other ones here or just keep it more plain. I don't know if I'm then going to do ones on the back. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to keep her like that. But that was the first kind of bookish thing that I really, really wanted to do, and I'm so happy that I've done it. I do need to go through my TBR cart and do some organising, but actually while I'm here I might just quickly do my TBR jar. So this is the new jar that is going to be. Like I said, it was a candle, but I've cleaned out the wax. And I just think it's nicer than my current TBR jar. An old curry sauce jar. So let's quickly empty this into here. Can I just do this? Oh, there goes that one. Oh, that's perfect. That's so much better. That's so much better. Amazing. So that is our new TBR jar. Maybe I'll try and maybe paint it or something because it's a little bit scratched, but amazing. That's another thing I can tick off the list. Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, we're on a good roll today. I'm currently watching Katie's Reading's most recent reading vlog while I was doing my reading journal. I'll probably crack on with some more reading, obviously, and I will probably also do a bit of gaming. I've really gotten back into Stardew Valley. Today, like I said, is the 26th, which is the 10-year anniversary, and we are getting some new marriage candidates revealed today. But I won't talk about that here. I'll probably talk about that over on my gaming channel at some point. But yeah, I think for now I'm just gonna chill, finish this reading vlog, read a bit more, probably drink a silly amount of tea, and I need to do my TBR cart as well. So the next time I see you, it'll probably be to do that. Mini reading update with Throne of Glass. I've only read like 10 pages since I last spoke to you, but I don't know, because I know that also I know I look different. I've been out, I just bought this from a charity shop and it's extremely comfortable. But this Throne of Glass is a completed series, okay? And I swear, if she comes out, if she does a 180 and releases more books in this series, I think I'm going to combust. I don't think she's going to do that. But my friend that I was buddy reading House of Flame and Shadow with, this is a spoiler for House of Flame and Shadow or the Crescent City series and Throne of Glass. No, not Throne of Glass. A Court of Thorns and Roses. Okay, so this is going to be a spoiler in a sense. I'm not going to say anything about the plots or anything, but I'm just going to say this now. Okay, but if you have read the second Crescent City book and the third, then you will know that we have multi-planet, multi-dimensional traveling. We have series colliding multiverses. Okay, the Sarah J. Maas multiverse was introduced in the second Crescent City book, Sky and Breath, because at the end of that book we are transported to the Court of Thorns and Roses world, and then in House of Flame and Shadow, we are in that world for a little bit at the start. So we know at this point that there is more to the Sarah J. Maas worlds than just what's in each individual series. We know they're interconnected. We know that they are linked. And I know I haven't looked deeply, or actually, no, I haven't looked at all into Throne of Glass and the series lore, the world lore. I am already theorizing things, and my friend has theories of her own as well because she has read this whole series. Part of me is like, surely she hasn't been planning this since Throne of Glass. Like, this whole mass universe. Surely not. Like, I don't. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, in this book, there has been mentions of like like teleporting to other worlds and things, and we know that that is something that Sarah J. Maas does in her books. I part of me is a bit like, okay, I know this series is wrapped up, but is this world going to start appearing in Crescent City or Akatar? Because I think it's possible. I think just from the crumbs that I've gotten from Throne of Glass, I think she could be setting up. But then again, this is book one of like, what was it, 7 or something? I have no idea what is coming from the rest of the series. So this could be a whole different universe and they're not connected whatsoever. The foreshadowing is there, the hints are there. And I'm so, or am I just so overthinking this and getting too deep? And this was kind of her build up to Akatar and Crescent City. Was this her kind of dabbling in multiverses and stuff, multi worlds, before then wanting to do it in her future works? I don't know. And again, I'm only halfway through the first book, so I could be completely off target here. But I know that it's a theory that the Throne of Glass universe, the Throne of Glass world, is within the same universe as Crescent City and Akatar. I know that that is a theory that's out there. We know that the Akatar series and the Crescent City series are in the same universe. We know that for fact. Is the Throne of Glass series in the same universe? I think it could be. But then again, I don't know. Was she planning that from the age of 19? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, was it 19 or 16? She was very I just know that she was young when she started writing Throne of Glass. But I'm really enjoying it. I am seeing the seeds that she is planting. But I also know not to get too attached because Sarah J. Maas takes us on on an absolute ride. Yeah, I'm excited, I'm intrigued, but I'm also trying to not jump the gun too much. I don't know if I'm going to get round to doing my TBR cart today. It's a little bit later now. I think it's approaching like 4 o'clock. Oh no, it is 4 o'clock. So Ben will be home relatively soon, which means I'm also going to be doing dinner relatively soon, and I'll be just spending the evening with him. I'll probably read some more for sure, but I probably won't be doing the TBR cart today. So that's probably a tomorrow job. So that is probably when I'll next see you, unless I have some more reading updates with Throne of Glass. Hello, lovelies. So it has been about, I love that I start recording while I've got a frog in my throat. That's great. So it has been about a week since I have finished Throne of Glass, which means I obviously need to update you with my thoughts and feelings about it. So my overall rating, I believe I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. So let's just talk about it, shall we? Let's talk about this iconic book. I think I mentioned previously that I have actually read this book before, but it was when it first came out. So I remembered practically nothing about the book. So it was like reading it for the first time, which was really nice. I really enjoyed this book. I can see how this is the start of something incredible, and I understand how this book series can be so bingeable and addicting. Sarah J. Maas's writing, this is the first book she published, so there has definitely been improvements since this, and I know I kind of touched upon that before, but despite this being her first book, I still think it was written well. I do think that this book gets quite a bit of criticism for its writing, but I personally didn't have a problem with it. There was like some things, for example, like I know I said before, she loves an exclamation point in this book. She loves it. And I know some people find our main character, Selena, quite annoying in this book and a little bit kind of I don't want to, I guess stereotypical in the sense of like she's the, you know, the powerful female main character who isn't really taken seriously by the men in the book. She can't show her true abilities because that's part of the cover. So her inner dialogue is very much like, if I could do this, I would, and he would be on the floor, and I could take him out in seconds, but I can't because then my cover will be blown. I know some people found that quite annoying. I personally didn't have a problem with it. I think going into this book knowing that it may not be Sarah J. Maas's best written work probably helped with that mindset for me. And also knowing the age of these characters. So I believe Selene is like 18, and then Dorian is, I want to say 19, and Cole is like 21, something like that. So they're like late teens, early 20s. And every now and then, especially with Selena, there would be kind of immatureness to her character. But then when you remember what age they are, that makes sense. She's barely an adult, and yet she is experienced so much pain already in her life that we don't even know, or I don't even know much about from this book. Obviously, I know going forward we will learn a lot more about her past and what she's been through, but the snippets that we have got definitely allude to the fact that she's been through it. She has had a tough past and a tough upbringing for her to become the greatest assassin in Adelaide. Yeah, you know, at the age of 18, she's like the most renowned assassin in the land. You kind of have to probably go through some horrendous things to get there. But at the end of the day, she's still only 18. She's a baby, you know? So I did take some of those moments with a pinch of salt because of that. And also, I remember like when Sarah J. Maas first started writing this book, she herself was a baby. She was like 16 when she started writing it. I think she was 26 when it was published, but she had this story starting in her brain from the age of 16. So I do think that is reflected in our characters. However, there is still an element of maturity to them as well. I thought this was YA. I would definitely say this is more new adult than YA. When I think of YA, I do think of like mid teens, so like 16, 17, 18. Whereas new adult is definitely, you know, early 20s, late teens kind of era for me, anyways. So there are definitely mature themes and like graphic descriptions of violence in this book and misogyny. Just there are some heavy topics highlighted within this book that I don't think would be as graphically highlighted if it was a YA. I grouped this book with a lot of the books that I read in my teen years. So like the Fallen series, Twilight, those kind of fantasy paranormal romance books. Whereas now I'm reading it, I wouldn't group them together. Or like the Mortal Instruments series. That's another kind of a fantasy series that I would have grouped this series with in the past, but now I do think it's separate from that kind of paranormal fantasy genre. It did take me a little while to get through this book, but that wasn't the book's fault. That was just the fact that I personally just wasn't in the biggest reading mood, but I also didn't want to rush this book, knowing how Sarah J. Maas writes and how she is known for leaving breadcrumbs in the earlier books that foreshadow things that happen in later books. I really wanted to try and digest every bit of information that she wrote. And it had me like second guessing so many different things, but in like the best way. You know what? It's actually really hard to talk about this book because I know that in the grand scheme of things, in the Throne of Glass world, this is but a stepping stone to what is going to unfold. And I know that, to be honest, a lot of the opinions and thoughts and feelings that I have are probably kind of redundant because I feel like the end point to this series is going to be so far removed from the starting point that it's kind of like, what do I even talk about? But the overall plot of the book, of this tournament that is being held by the king for him to find his personal, is it his personal, oh, it was his champion, the king's champion. I thought that was like a really fun plot, a kind of classic in the genre, you know, the tournament based event where a bunch of like there are some underdogs, but there are also some like skilled trained assassins or soldiers or whatever, you know, competing for the top prize, whatever that may be. It's a classic in the genre, and I thought it was really fun. I also loved because there's so much more to the plot than just that. There is kind of the added mystery of the champions being killed off in very gruesome ways, like one by one, and Selena's trying to figure out what is going on while also competing in this tournament. So, you know, there is more to the plot than just the tournament, and that made it really fun and interesting. We've had some lore kind of develop in this book, but again, it's crumbs of lore that I know is just going to be expanded upon in future books. It has left me questioning one, character's morals, but also how long are you going to be around for? Like, should I get attached? This is another thing. I'm like, how attached do I get to these characters? I know our main character, Selena's in it to the end, but I'm just a bit like, I'm actually kind of scared to get attached to any of these characters in case they're ripped away from me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm a bit cautious with that element as well. But speaking of characters, let's talk about our three main characters quickly. So we have got Selena, our main gal, our main character, who is Dorian's champion. Now, Dorian is the prince, he is the king's son. And we also then have Cole, who is the, what is he, like the head of guard, the head guard of the king's military army, whatever. These are our three main characters, and we do kind of have a little bit of a love triangle between these three. And I actually thought the love triangle element, it's a very much a subplot within the book. The romance doesn't really, it's not like a main plot. The romance in this book is definitely subplot. It is relevant in the fact that it definitely develops their personalities and their morals and influences their choices as the tournament goes on. There's a lot of kind of self conflict, you know. These feelings that are appearing for people that they know they shouldn't be appearing for. A classic. Forbidden love, we love to see it. I also love the friendship relationships that is highlighted in this book, and that is one thing that I think Sarah J Maas does really well in all of the books that I've read from her. She not only highlights romance but friendships and the importance of friendships and how they are just as meaningful, sometimes more so, than a romantic relationship, especially female friendships as well, which we do have in this book. We do have a really lovely female friendship between Selena and Nehemia, I want to say is how it's pronounced. And that kind of storyline and how that unravels and how their friendship grows and blossoms was really lovely to read about as well. So, like, overall, if you are a fan of Sarah J Maas, but you've been quite intimidated by this series, you've just got to pick up the first book and go for it, because you will enjoy it. You'll have a good time. If you know what Sarah J Maas is like as a writer, then I just don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. I'm really intrigued to see what happens in the next book. I think I mentioned it before, but I'm going to read Crown of Midnight next, and then I'm going to be reading the prequel novellas. I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes for sure. that is all from me, my lovelies. I know this kind of turned into a Throne of Glass reading vlog, so I hope that's okay. That wasn't the original intent for it, but that's kind of how it's gone because that's really the only book I've read in March. But I have now gotten back into a bit of a reading rhythm, and I've already read another book and I've started another one, but we'll talk about that in another vlog, I think. But I hope you are doing really, really well. And for my Northern Hemisphere lovelies, I hope spring is treating you wonderfully. It is definitely blooming here in the UK, which I'm so, so happy about. And my Southern Hemisphere girlies, I hope the start of your autumn is going cozy and gently as well. But that is all from me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in the next video. Bye!